The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing. Here's your host, Matt Hansen.
Hey, this is Matt Hansen with the Mastering Local Marketing podcast, and I am here with Greg Gifford, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Search Lab Digital. I wanted to invite Greg in today because he is an expert in SEO. And I know a lot of our listeners are trying to understand what they can do with SEO. Greg, welcome. I know you travel the world. You give a variety of presentations at different conferences. And I know you were just talking about how you're heading to Germany soon, but give us a little insight on who you are.
Yeah, so I am the crazy guy on stage that does the goofy talks that everybody seems to like. So I'm lucky enough to get to literally travel all over the world. I spent 3 weeks in Bali in December. Going to Germany next week. I go to the UK next month. I'm going to Spain this summer. So I get some really cool trips. I get to travel the world and teach people how to get their websites to show up better in searches.
That's great. So what we're talking about today is search engine optimization, and commonly referred to as SEO. You are an expert in this area. I mean, I've watched, you've got your local Search Tuesday videos. They're short snippets, really good insights. Is somebody that's looking to kind of understand SEO, I guess what we can start with is, what is it? And, where we should focus.
So SEO, like you said, stands for search engine optimization. It's basically doing all the things that you need to do to give Google better signals about your business so that you'll show up more often when people are searching for the solutions that you provide. So it's, a lot of people think it's just writing a bunch of blog posts or landing pages, but it's much more than that. It's much more involved. It's basically looking at signals both on your website and off your website that we know that Google's algorithm looks at to make sure that they're the right kind of signals. And that will help you show up more often, which should lead to more traffic, which should lead to more sales.
Right. And so, basically everyone wants to rank number one, which we all know is impossible, right? So everybody can't be number one. Everybody can't be number two. But from somebody that is operating a small business, right? So whether it's I'm an independent entrepreneur by myself or I have 20 to 50 employees, what are some of the areas that I should focus on?
So the first thing that you need to determine is which kind of SEO you need to do, because Google has multiple algorithms in play. Any search query that has local intent, meaning that person doing the search is either definitely or very likely to buy from a local business, whether it's a brick and mortar or like a service business like a plumber and electrician. Google's going to use its local algorithm instead of its traditional algorithm. With the traditional algorithm, if you rank number one, you rank number one everywhere on the planet for that search phrase. With the local algorithm, Google's going to constrain the search results to a particular geographic area. Now, what that kind of radius of visibility is going to be different based on the location, how dense the population is, and how much competition there is in that area. But that kind of makes sense if you think about it. The way I like to describe local SEO is with pizza delivery, because everybody understands you need a pizza delivered from somewhere nearby, so it's warm, right? So if I'm going to go look for pizza delivery, even if I hit pizza delivery near me, even if I don't, even if I include a city, even if I don't, let's say I just type in the two words, pizza delivery, Google's going to give me a list of all the pizza spots right there where I am in that location. It's not going to show me Pequods, because you're in Chicago area, so you should know Pequods, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to show me Pequods because that's the best pizza in the country, right? It's going to show me, I'm in Dallas, so it's going to show me stuff in the North Dallas area where I am. So that makes sense because clearly you need a pizza delivered from somewhere nearby, but from a user behavior thing, that makes sense too. If I'm looking for pizza delivery, why would it show me Pequods? Like, sure, I can order a frozen pizza and have it shipped, but that doesn't help me. So Google understands user behavior because it's seen what the trillions and trillions and trillions of people have done when they do a search. And business owners need to understand that you can't make Google work the way you want it to work. You got to play in Google's sandbox. Google has tons of data and it knows how customers search. So figure that out first. The easiest way to know if you need local SEO instead of regular SEO is if you do face-to-face business with customers.
Right.
That can occur at a brick and mortar shop or restaurant or office or whatever, where your customers come to you and do business with you at that brick and mortar. Or it could be that service type situation like a plumber or an electrician. If you don't do face-to-face business with customers, you don't need local SEO, you need regular SEO.
Right. And that's one of the things that we talk about a lot is, if you're seeing customers face-to-face, typically you're in about a 20-mile or 20-minute radius around your business, right? So people don't travel long distances to go get a pizza, for example,
right,
unless it's delicious, right? But, the local SEO is really kind of that area, that 20-minute area around you. And I know it's shorter for pizza because we're not going to wait forever for 20 minutes for a drive for pizza. But
hope we're not going to wait 20 minutes for a pizza.
Right. It's definitely going to be cold at that point. So,
right.
But yeah, I think when people talk about SEO, they think, oh, it's just, I want to rank number one on Google for a keyword, a search term. What you're saying, though, is there's two ways to look at this. If you are ranking, we're right outside Chicago. If we're ranking in San Diego, it doesn't make any sense for us because I'm not going to deliver a pizza to somebody in San Diego. So we have to look at it from a local SEO versus the overall SEO for the general world, I guess you would say, right?
And one of the biggest mistakes that small business owners make when it comes to SEO is they just don't know anything about it. And they just blindly trust whichever partner they're using. So it might be some freelance kid. It might be some small agency right up the street. It might be some big national agency. And most of them are good agencies, good providers. They do good work. But there are some shady people out there that are going to take your money and they don't really do anything to help you. So I think the most important thing for business owners to do is to go take an hour of time and sit through an SEO training course. There are so many SEO training courses online and a lot of them are free. You can pay for one, but you don't need to. There's plenty of opportunities out there for an intro to SEO course that just gives you a basic understanding of what it is that's involved so that you have enough knowledge that when you're having that conversation with someone, you understand enough to know, okay, is this guy just shoveling it for me, or does this guy really know what he's talking about? So I think that's the most important thing. And then the second most important thing is so many people use some sort of a rank tracking software solution to judge success. Mm-hmm. And they have 2 or 3 keywords that they want to rank number one for, and SEO is not working for them unless they rank number one for this keyword. That's not really the right way to look at it, because Google has very publicly said for years now that at least 20% of the searches that happen on a daily basis have never been searched before. And that happens every day with the billions of searches that happen every day.
Right.
That's billions of searches that you wouldn't be able to track in a rank tracking solution because the rank tracking software only tracks the specific phrases that you enter, and you're going to put in the 5 phrases that you really care about. And honestly, most of the time, those 5 phrases that the business owner cares about wouldn't be things they'd want to rank for anyway. They think they do, but it's a vanity thing. And you have to think at the most basic level, every business out there, you are selling the solution to a problem. Your customer has a problem. You have the solution. They have to find that you have the solution, and they have to decide between all of the available options which place they want to purchase that solution from. There's a lot of search that goes involved. There are a lot of research that goes into that. It's a very involved process, especially if your product or service skews towards more expensive. The more expensive your product or service is, the more research people are going to do before they convert and become a lead or before they buy from you. And most people are only tracking the keywords that are that extreme bottom of the purchase funnel. And that's not really an accurate gauge for success. What it is you increase the visibility for your business, and you result in more traffic and more leads that hopefully you close into more sales. So it's more about increasing visibility, not I only want to go after these one or two phrases and I don't care if I show up for anything else.
Right. I mean, I think the ideal thing is you want to show up whenever somebody has that need for what you provide. And there's, I had a perfect example. I was working with a client a while back. It was an insurance client, and they started talking about going out and doing paid search and all this. Well, if you know anything about insurance, it's a fortune, right? So if you buy a key term there, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. So when you start to have those conversations with them, realize that that's a lifetime value. Those big companies are really generating significant leads by paying for that. So you're never going to compete. You're not going to compete against the State Farms and the Allstates of the world in that, right? So you've got to find a niche. You've got to find something that you provide a value. And I think that's what you're saying is don't try to compete with these large companies or things that are kind of general, but find a way to niche down a little bit more to really provide value. But you've got that from point A to point B.
Exactly.
Walk me through it.
And it's kind of more about anticipating what your customers are going to be searching for and how they would search. The example that I always like to give, business owners, and a lot of times the marketers working for those business owners have blinders on. They know everything about that business. They understand it in and out.
Right.
And they forget that someone that has never purchased that product or service before knows nothing about that product or service. And if you speak in your own terminology, the general public doesn't understand that jargon. And the two examples, I was for 12 years of my career, I worked at agencies that only did stuff for car dealers. So I have a lot of car dealer examples.
Sure.
Car dealers always want to try to rank for the phrase pre-owned vehicle, and they use pre-owned vehicle all over their website because it sounds nicer than used car, and they're trying to make it sound nicer. And I get that, but people don't search for pre-owned vehicles. They search for used cars.
Correct.
They don't search for used SUVs. They search for used cars, and then they filter for SUVs. So if you're going to use the phrase pre-owned vehicle all over your website, you're not going to rank for used cars, which is where all of the people are searching. And so you're going for the wrong things. Another great example, plastic surgeons. They have the medical name for all these procedures.
Right.
So if you're optimizing for blepharoplasty, that's an eyebrow lift. Customers don't search for blepharoplasty. They have no idea what it's called. They search for eyebrow lift.
Right.
Or droopy eyebrows. How do I fix them? Or things like that. So it's the way that we kind of explain it, and it makes more sense for healthcare, but everybody else gets it too, is you have to understand that your customers are shopping and searching for the symptoms of the problem they're trying to solve. They're not searching for the final solution because they don't know what the final solution is. So, all of our healthcare clients, we always have to explain that to them and say, look, we know you do all these things, but if someone's looking for blepharoplasty, you want to have a blog post that's like, hey, as you're getting older, your eyebrows start to droop. Here's some different things that you can do. You can use creams, you can do this, or you can get a blepharoplasty, which is this. Then it leads them down that path of research to the right direction. Same thing with insurance. I'm looking for insurance. I don't know what kind of insurance I need or what the terms are or any of that. Like, that's what insurance guys love. They're putting up, here's my comparison to this is me versus State Farm, and I have a better rate and I have better, like, people don't go that far. People are like, hey man, my car insurance is running out. I'm looking for cheap insurance. Well, the guy that has a page of cheap insurance in Dallas is going to rank better because that's what customers are looking for. And business owners kind of have trouble making those connections.
Yeah, it's funny. We were looking at, we were having a conversation about life insurance with an agent this week, and all of the terms that were coming out, and I'm sitting there going, I don't understand this. So we would go back and forth and have the conversation. And really, the funny part is I had to go to YouTube to kind of start to understand what are we even talking about. And I was going to their website and I'm seeing all this jargon and all these names, these fancy names that they have for different things. And quite honestly, what I'm looking for is life insurance for XYZ.
And the fact that you had to go to YouTube to find that answer and you couldn't get it on their website is exactly the disconnect I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't think people, we search for things that make sense to us. Nobody goes in there and types in insurance. It's right. Like, that's just not how we do it. We have a question, we have a statement, we have something. I need insurance because I just wrecked my car, kind of thing. Right. So yeah, that's always the interesting part, because people want to rank for those, insurance and those top names, or one of those health terms that you've provided for us, but nobody knows. And that's really the fun part.
And if you do rank for it, who cares? Because if customers aren't searching for that term, what's it going to do for you? Nothing at all.
Okay, so let's shift gears, right? So today where we're at, I know things are constantly changing, but where do you see SEO going in the near future?
I think the biggest thing that those of us in the industry are wondering about right now is what's going to happen with AI. Mm-hmm. Because you've got the AI overviews rolled out in North America and starting to roll out to the rest of the world. And it's very clearly not quite great information many times. It's better than it was when they started releasing it, but it's still got a ways to go. And now Google is going to release a full AI-only version of Google search results. And we're all wondering how that's going to work and what's going to happen for that. But then you also have these other AI search engines. You've got AI-powered search engines like Perplexity. You've got ChatGPT, where people are starting to go to these other places. Business owners might be freaking out because, you can't track that traffic. I think the thing that people need to be prepared for is you can, in the very near future, and for some businesses, maybe even now, you can't use website traffic as a gauge of success. Right. Your website traffic, for a lot of businesses out there, the website traffic that you got last month is probably the highest month of website traffic you'll ever have. Your business could explode and you could become massive, and you may never get more website traffic than what you currently have. If it's and I don't know what type of business that will be, but if it's some type of business where you're getting to show in the AI overview, then maybe that's all that matters and people don't even have to go to your website to buy from you. And who cares, right? It's all about showing up and being where customers are looking for you. And that really hasn't been only Google for a long time now. It could be Google, it could be Bing, it could be Yahoo, it could be DuckDuckGo, it could be Ecosia, it could be AOL for the people that still are stuck in AOL, It's all these different places. And if you're only thinking Google, sure, Google is the monster in the room, but there's a lot of other places that you can be found. YouTube, even though YouTube is a Google property, but a lot of younger people will search on YouTube because they want to see a video. They don't want to read results. People that skew a little bit older don't want to watch the video. They want to read it. There's people in the middle that want a video, but then they want the text as well in case there's more there. You got other people that might just go right to TikTok. You have people that might go to Pinterest. You have people that might go to Twitter or Blue Sky or LinkedIn. So it's anticipating the questions that your customers will have and figuring out where they're looking for those answers, because it's not going to only be Google moving forward. I think that's incredibly important to understand.
Yeah, just the search with, whether it's a search engine or it's social at this point. I mean, people are out there actively searching on multiple platforms. And I think everybody thinks about Google, but you start to fail when you think, okay, it's just there. There are people looking for answers. I mean, I watch my kids, they search on TikTok or Instagram for different things. And, that's where they're getting their news from at this point. So it's a different world, and we've got to evolve from a small business perspective.
But at the same time, don't get distracted by all the stuff that's going on with this, because you'll see webinars and blog posts about here's how to show up in AI overviews. And okay, but if it's an AI overview, there's probably one person that can get it. It's like featured snippets were 10 years ago. Everybody wanted the featured snippet where it's the little answer box at the top above position number 1. The AI overview stuff is changing so rapidly. What works today may not even work next week. And realistically, you still need your website. Even if you're not going to get as much traffic, it doesn't mean ignore your website and just go play on TikTok and do your marketing there. You still have to have your website, because to show up as an AI search result, the LLMs have to be able to see that information about you in these various places. And the best place to feed the LLMs information about your business is with your website. So it may be that we're optimizing the website because we want to show up in the AI powered search engine that takes over from Google in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years, whatever that time period is. You're still going to, at least for the foreseeable future, need that website property there, just so there's something for these bots to go out and crawl to know what you do.
So if you could give one thing of advice, it's something that you see commonly that just you wish people would stop doing when it comes to SEO, what would that be? I know that's a loaded question.
Oh, we're trying to keep this to 20 minutes. This is maybe about twice as long at this point just to answer this one. No, I think the big thing is, the biggest mistake that I see business owners making is they do things that are against the rules without knowing they're against the rules. And Google has a lot of guidelines around Google Business Profiles, that box that shows on the right side when you search for a particular local business. Because the Google Business Profile is only for businesses that do face-to-face business in the local area. And business owners will go in and change something there or do something there because they saw a thing on TikTok that says, oh, if you go do this, then you're going to show up better in searches. And they'll go do it, and it's something you're not really allowed to do. And then you get suspended, and then you don't show up in search results, and it hurts your business. And you can go to Google and go, well, I didn't know it was against the rules. I'm sorry. And Google's going to be like, I don't care. It was against the rules. You're suspended. So before you touch anything on your Google Business Profile, make sure you understand the guidelines around that. There's plenty of things out there like my video series and other people that do video series, and you can go to Google's own documentation. And if you want to change anything there, realize that it could cause you to get suspended. And Google is really trying hard lately to fight all of the spammers, because there are a lot of people out there that will set up fake business profiles to try to generate leads. Google's trying to fight that. And unfortunately, the system is detecting a lot of false positives. So legitimate businesses are getting suspended. And then once you get suspended, you can appeal that suspension. But once you click the button to say, yeah, I want to appeal this suspension, you have 60 minutes. And you have to get all your documentation and shoot your video within that 60 minutes. And if the timer expires and you didn't get it done, that was your one shot and you're done. Or if you send it all in and you don't send the right documentation, or you don't have the right things in your video, you're done. And you get one appeal if you get denied. And if you fail that, you're really done. And business owners will say, oh, I got suspended, I want to appeal it, not realizing that it's going to start that timer. And then all of a sudden it's a timer that's like, oh, you have to record this video and you have to get these documentation together to send to us. Business owners are like, I got a call in 10 minutes. I can't do this right now. And then the timer expires and they're out of luck. So it is pretty complex, unfortunately. And I think a lot of business owners are shooting themselves in the foot because they're just doing finger guns. They're like, oh, let's do this. Yeah. And you got to really be careful with that, because otherwise, if you get suspended, it can be really bad. If you're not showing up, let's say you get suspended and it happens on a Friday and you don't even touch till Monday. All right. Over the weekend, you're not showing up. Then Monday, you do the appeal, but you screw it up and you get denied. And then by the time you go appeal that, it's by the end of the next week. So it's already been a longer than a week that you're not showing up. And then you submit the appeal and it takes 2 weeks for them to go through the appeal. Now it's like you haven't shown up in Google for a month. And for a really small business, that's devastating. It could end the business. So you want to be really careful with anything related to your business profile.
So I think the one takeaway that we can take away from this podcast today is really understand what you're doing and don't click anything or don't change anything unless you thoroughly know what you're doing, right? Is that what we would say?
Yeah. And if you're curious about what you can and can't do, there's a company called Bright Local. It's brightlocal.com. And once you go there, there's a little link to go to the Bright Local Academy, and they have a bunch of free videos that teach you about local SEO. And I have an intro to local SEO course there. It's about an hour and a half long. So it is a little bit longer, but it's completely free and you can take it. And it really walks you through a lot of these things that you should or shouldn't do.
right? So it's an hour and a half long, which is better than being off of Google for a month.
Weeks
Let's
or
be
months,
honest, right? So, all right, just to wrap things up, I want to thank you again for all the amazing insights today. I know you're a huge movie fan. Seeing the Star Wars things in the background, I'm assuming you are. So,
Star Wars
favorite movie
right there.
Love it.
As of Monday, I now have 30 different movies tattooed on my body.
Wow. So, what's your favorite movie then?
You know, it's pretty much impossible question to answer because you can't really compare sci-fi to horror to rom-com to action. So I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I gotta admit, really love Star Wars.
I'll make it easier. Is there a favorite Star Wars movie then?
Oh, like Star Wars, like the original Star Wars. And I don't even know how much all my stuff is worth, but like I have a lot of original Star Wars toys, and I have like the original Cantina playset, and I have the cardboard backing of it, so it's worth like $1,000 or God knows what. But
nice,
yeah, like Star Wars has been my jam my whole life. I probably have easily 10 to 12 Star Wars T-shirts that are Star Wars movie posters from other countries, so it's like in Japanese or Korean or whatever. So yeah, big Star Wars fan, but also giant horror fan, like massive horror fan.
Very cool. Well, Greg, I want to say thank you again for jumping on the podcast today. Where can people find out a little bit more about you, or where can they find your videos?
Yeah, sure. So best thing to do, just go to searchlabdigital.com and you can find me there. There you can either go to the blog to watch my video series, or there's actually a video link. But if you go to that, it's just a channel page. So it's like almost like a YouTube thing, except we use a different video host that's better than YouTube. You can watch all the videos, or you can go to the Search Lab YouTube channel and check it out there. Follow Search Lab on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or any of the socials. It's all out there. Pretty much if you just Google Greg Gifford, most of the stuff that pops up is me on the first page, and you can find stuff and watch videos. And my video series is goofy. You can subscribe to it, and every week you'll just get an email link to the new video. And like, I shoot in front of a green screen, so I have an evil twin that comes out and I talk to myself and do goofy things. And every time I say something with air quotes, we dub in like karate chop sound effects. Like it's goofy and fun.
See, that's what I love, right? So I've watched a few of the videos. Actually, I have more than a few, but great content, real simple, quick snippets, but definitely go check it out. And Greg, I want to say thank you again for being with us, and keep sharing those videos for us.
I will. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing.